It's a great night in Utah Jazz history. Darryn Peterson is on the Jazz. Let's talk about it and what it means. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. To all the new subscribers, thank you. To all the OGs, thank you. To everyone, thank you. Because it is the beginning of a golden age for the Utah Jazz and Utah Jazz fans, and we all did it. All of you that left, welcome back. There will be open arms. For all that were here during the 4 years, and even that last year, we talked about it on the live stream tonight during the draft. You know, even that last year with Donovan and Rudy, it was miserable. You could tell they hated each other. I knew there were things going on behind the scenes. It sucked for everyone. There was nowhere else this was going to go. And I was thinking about it. Like, you've maybe had times in your life where you knew something bad was coming. I remember when I graduated from college, literally decades ago. I'm getting old. But it was during the Great Recession, and I knew just an upcoming period of my life was going to be difficult. And it was. It really was. And there have been times like that in my life where you can just sense that, this next period of life is going to be tough. And sometimes it's a long period of life, and it's hard. And that's what happened with us. You knew that things were going to change at the end of the Darren Williams era too. That set off a whole other epoch of sadness and despair. It's been a lot of sadness and despair for Jazz fans. Ever since Michael Jordan ruined my childhood, it's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of mediums, but just not a lot of hope, right? And with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, it felt like the end of something and the beginning of a tough time. And we knew what we had to do. We hoped we'd get Victor Wembanyama. We didn't fully tank that year like we should have. We tanked. It was just a little too late. And we ended up with, I believe, the 9th pick that offseason. The following year, almost identical to the year before, Utah ends with the 10th pick. They improved one spot and got to the 8 and then fell 2 spots to the 10. And despair set in. The next year, they do the tank right. They lose enough games, have the worst record in the league. Got lucky on a final shot by the Washington Wizards of all teams who, won the game and gave the Jazz the worst record in the league, and Utah got 5 and Washington got 6. We got Ace Bailey. They got Trey Johnson. But a lot of Jazz fans were mad before we knew that Ace Bailey would join the team. It goes to show that even in the worst of times, you never know what blessings will come that you did not expect. And one of those was Ace Bailey. And I know Con Knipple was incredible. And VJ Edgecombe was great for Philadelphia. But guess what? Ace Bailey has a chance to be just as good, if not better. And one thing that Ace Bailey has that they don't is the athleticism and size that he brings. That combo is impressive. And by the way, Ace Bailey is the same age as the guy the Jazz just drafted tonight. Same age, 19 years old, both of them. Ace Bailey was the youngest in that draft, or one of. But anyways, that brings us to this year. And we had lots of rumors, and I had heard some things that the Jazz front office and certain people in the front office did not care about losing anymore. Didn't care if they lost their pick. That was a thing. And that's why I was panicking. Just every night on this channel, especially at the beginning of the year, I couldn't believe we might just lose the pick. And by the way, midway through the year, the Jazz, or like that first third of the season, Utah was sitting at like 8 or 9. Losing the pick was a very real possibility. Very real. If you remember the anxiety of that. And there were people that had the audacity online to claim that we were overreacting. Well, as the season went on, it wasn't changing much because this is a special draft. And we all knew it. Everyone knew it. Every team. So bad that there were more teams tanking than ever before. Adam Silver fines the Jazz $500,000 because Utah started doing the thing that everyone else was doing, by the way. Utah got the moniker of the worst tanking team, yet I watched Brooklyn rest Michael Porter Jr. weeks before what the Jazz did with Lauri Markkanen in Orlando. Weeks before. Not a month. Go to Basketball Reference. You can see it. It's right there. Black and white, clear as crystal. Right there. And we were villainized. All the other teams doing the same things. They were not villainized, but we were. We were. And it was unfair. And it was not right. But the Jazz did the right thing. And if it weren't for the Sacramento Kings deciding to win 5 of their last 10 games at the end of the season this year, Utah would not have been in the spot they were in. They got sole possession of where they were in the, I can't remember if it was 5. I believe it was 5 or 6. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. We outdid the Sacramento Kings, jumped to number 2. And for the first time in Utah Jazz history, they really went for it the last 4 years, for the most part. For the most part. They tanked at the end of all 4 of those years, and they did it completely from start to finish for 2. And this is the reward. And, you know, they did things more brash, braver than I would have been. Lauri Markkanen's still on the team. It's crazy. They make the trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. last season. He plays for like 2.5 games, and then he gets a surgery that he needed. And looking in all workouts like he's okay. Looks great. And then they add Darryn Peterson, who, by the way, and I, you know, shout out to my friend Andy Thorson. I was at his house before the season started in just complete hopes that either Darryn Peterson or AJ DeBonsa would be on the Jazz. And I remember talking to him that, you know, I think Darryn Peterson's the guy. Like, I think he's if you're the number 1 pick, I think you got to take Darryn Peterson because, and I talked about it then, talking to Andy. This is like the most complete player I've ever seen. I don't know if there's a prospect that is this complete and this ready and this good at this age. It's unbelievable how good he is, guys. And anyone who's a detractor has probably not done the homework. You know, any questions about health are not there. You know, Kristen Peak made a great point when she said that those medicals that Darryn Peterson had, and by the way, the Jazz said that they looked at them very closely because they had to make this pick. But they had to look at those medicals, but all 30 NBA teams had those medicals as well. And no one leaked anything, including teams trying to scare the Jazz. Like, what if Chicago wanted to leak something to try to get Utah to pass on Darryn Peterson? There were rumors that Utah had interest in Cam Boozer, although I believe that was more to just kind of try to make something happen with Memphis. Didn't happen. All the bait and switch and all the tricks and smoke screens and everything didn't work out for anyone. It just went chalk. I have to say, I think the Washington Wizards had the most terrifying pick and choice to make, because both AJ DeBonsa and Darryn Peterson are both worthy of the number 1 pick, but one of them's going to be better. It's just a fact. It's like one of them will make all NBA, one of them will not. One of them has a chance to make MVP, one of them has a chance not. Maybe they both win the MVP at some point. Could be. But there's a world where Darryn Peterson is a better player and has a better career and is all NBA and maybe gets some MVP votes. Maybe he wins the MVP. The crazy thing about this stuff with Darryn Peterson, guys, is all of these things are on the table. He is such a complete, incredible scorer. 6'5", 6'6" with shoes on. Can score from anywhere on the floor. Can score in any way you want. Athletic. The athleticism will be back from high school. Shooting. He can make every pass. Anyone who says he can't play make needs to do some more film watching. Go watch the games. Go watch the passes he makes. He can make every single play, every pass, every shot. 3-point, mid-range, basket, finishing, floater, turnaround. He has incredible body control, catch and shoot, off the bounce. It's incredible. And he draws fouls too, 5.5 free throws a game or something like that in college. So not only is he an elite shooter scorer, he will go to the free throw line. How do you guard him? Day one, how do you guard Darryn Peterson? In the modern day NBA, he is going to get the ball in a pick and roll. If you go under the screen, he is a lights out shooter. So they're not going to do that. And he is super athletic. So if you go over the screen, he's going to the basket. And guess what? He's already got a developed floater. He already goes to the basket. He already has the athleticism, and we already know that he can make the pass. He is a cheat code, and he is a rookie of the year front runner right away, because this Utah Jazz team is going to be good, and he is going to be a starter on it. Anyone who thinks he's not starting, the idea of him coming off the bench is laughable. I swear, if I see Svi Mikhailiuk start over Darryn Peterson, it's flip the desk tie. All right. It can't happen. It can't happen. But what can and should happen is Darryn Peterson starting. So, guys, we're entering a golden age of Jazz basketball because this Jazz team is going to be so good. They have 6 top-tier prospects, and that is predicting that the Utah Jazz will get a deal done with Walker Kessler. And whether Walker Kessler is here long-term or not is not the biggest deal. Right now, the best move for Utah is to sign him. They can always trade him. But right now, the best thing for them is to sign him because Walker Kessler is good and his defense is important. And it's important to have Walker Kessler on this team so that Jaren Jackson Jr. can play the 4 where he is much better. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a center. Anyone who tells you that is incorrect. He is a power forward. He won the Defensive Player of the Year as a power forward. When they moved him to center, it went badly. They stopped winning. If you want, go watch Team USA. Steve Kerr ruined our gold medal shot by putting Jaren Jackson Jr. at center. Ironically, Walker Kessler was on that team and should have played, and it would have made Jaren Jackson Jr. better and the team better overall. But Steve Kerr is an overrated coach. But that's another story for another day. On this Jazz team, though, they will play together. And this team is going to be so good. They will have size. My guess, my prediction, I would be shocked if this wasn't the starting unit. Day one, it's Keyonte George, Darryn Peterson, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, and Ace Bailey will play 28 to 32 minutes a night. And more often than not, he is going to be the first guy off the bench. And who knows, by the end of the season, if Ace Bailey takes a huge leap, he may start. One thing that I love about Will Hardy is he will play who deserves to play. And so Darryn Peterson will have to earn this. But he is one of those players that is so good and so effective, and honestly a better defender than people realize. An extremely opportunistic defender who's going to get steals and all sorts of things. It's going to be hard to stop this Jazz team on both ends of the floor. I mean, this Jazz team is going to rebound the ball well. You know, Jaren Jackson Jr., we know his weakness is the rebounding, but guess what? He's going to have Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler in that same front court. And Ace Bailey, we saw last year, is a high-level, top-tier rebounder for his position. Like, Ace Bailey, if he plays 32 minutes a night, is going to average at least 5 rebounds a game, if not more. Maybe 8, you know? At the small forward, he was fantastic rebounding the ball. And, who knows? Sky's the limit. But Utah has 6 top-tier players. Keyonte George and Darryn Peterson have to start because you need the playmaking. The question is going to be between Lauri Markkanen and Ace Bailey, but my guess is Lauri Markkanen's going to start. You need Jaren Jackson Jr. for the defense, and you need Walker Kessler for the defense. Defense wins championships. But guess what? You're going to have a team of Kessler, Jaren Jackson, and Darryn Peterson. Those are all plus defenders. Darryn Peterson is a plus defender. It's not just the offense where he looks spectacular. It's the defense as well. He is a high stocks guy. Incredible for the Jazz to make this pick. It's just franchise altering. And that was what we've been waiting for all these years. Not just the last 4, but for my entire fandom, is to have that franchise altering player. And the fact that the Jazz are bringing him in, plug and play with the team that's already built. It's so incredibly rare to have a player like that come on to a team like this. Because the draft gurus and everyone out there, what they will always say, and it is correct, that you should pick the best player available, no matter what. If you have two power forwards on your team and you believe Cam Boozer is hands down the best player in the draft, then you're picking Cam Boozer, right? But it's pretty rare that a team has both need and best player available, and those go hand in hand. And that is what happened with this. In fact, it's even a better fit than had it been A.J. Debonsa, because A.J. Debonsa is great, but he is not a catch and shoot threat right now. Now, maybe he figures it out, and he's that talented that he could, you know? And I'd have been happy with Debonsa if that's what would have happened. But it didn't. Now we can just talk about Darryn Peterson. He is an elite catch and shoot option. So not only is he going to fit perfectly into his team, but then it will make the other players on this team better. They will all be better for having Darryn Peterson. His threat on the outside will force other teams into mismatches and isolations. And there will be times where Jaren Jackson has a small guy on him and is just going to do a quick little hook shot over someone small. We watched him do that in the 3 games we watched him for the Jazz already, and you watched him do that in Memphis. Utah can spread the floor. And by the way, yes, Jaren Jackson Jr. is better at the power forward, but there are times where Utah's going to run out a death lineup now, because guess what? We have a death lineup. A lineup of death with Michael Myers, by the way, tattooed on his arm. He is a killer, and that is the thing that he's been described as by so many people. He is the quiet killer. He is the Michael Myers that's joining this team. Get ready. Knife in your back, baby. But Utah's going to have a death lineup. Keontae George, Darryn Peterson, Ace Bailey, and Lauri Markkanen at the 4, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5. Good luck stopping that offensive output. Utah will have different options and looks that they will be able to do. They will have the big in the dunkers spot look. They will have a 5-out look. They'll have multi-pick and roll looks. They can run horns. They are going to be able to do their rotations so that all times either Keontae George or Darryn Peterson is on the floor so they can both run the show. Both of them are playmakers. Keontae George showed that he could play a point guard and be a high-level point guard. If you don't believe me, go look at the first 2 weeks of last season before they put in Isaiah Collier. Keontae George was he was top 3 in assists for the first 2 weeks of the season. He's doing it again. And when you're throwing the ball to Darryn Peterson, when you're throwing the ball to Jaren Jackson, when you're lobbing the ball to Walker Kessler, you're throwing the ball to Lauri Markkanen, you're going to rack up the assists. And both of them will. And Darryn Peterson is going to come onto this team and show the things that he wasn't able to show at Kansas with NBA spacing. He has NBA shooting all around him. 3 all-star caliber players, 2 actual all-stars in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen, and Keontae George, who was playing at an all-star level before he was shut down. And he's joining that, and he will likely be the best of all of them by the end of the season. And he's so good, he might be the best of all of them to start the season. That is what's crazy about this. The comp to this is when Kawhi Leonard joined the Toronto Raptors and the team was already built and ready to go. Or like Magic Johnson joining the Lakers and joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Things went pretty well for those 2 teams. Now, the difference, well, it's not much different than Magic Johnson with the Lakers because he was a rookie too. Darryn Peterson is a rookie coming into a great situation. He doesn't have one of the all-time greats in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but you can do worse than having 3 all-stars and one of the top 10 centers in the NBA at center. You could do worse, right? So in so many ways, he is coming into a perfect situation that will accentuate everything he does. He has a chance to be Rookie of the Year, and I loved that his goals were not Rookie of the Year, right? If you saw what he said, he didn't say, what are your goals for this season? You know what his goals were? Make the playoffs, win a championship. Love it. I love it. It is to win. It is to win the game. It is to win a title. And that's the thing that we got to remember, guys. And I'm so excited. The golden age is here. Utah has a real shot to win an actual title for the first time in our lives since Stockton and Malone actually stepped onto the floor in the NBA Finals and went toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc. It's been decades, literal decades. And the best shot for this Utah Jazz team is now. It starts tomorrow. Darryn Peterson is on a flight to Utah. He is ready to join this team. He is ready to do everything he can to win a title. And how do I know this? Because that's what he said. And what I loved the most, for all the most negative of Jazz fans, Everything Darryn Peterson said is, I want to get there. I want to go home. I want to go home. And you know what he's talking about? Utah. Yes, Utah. And so things, like I said before, sometimes in life, you are going through the worst situation you can imagine. The worst thing, the thing you hoped would never happen, happens. And you lose. And things fall apart. And then all of a sudden, the thing that you didn't know that you needed comes and makes things better. And that's what's happening right now. Darryn Peterson is that thing that we needed, that we didn't know 4 years ago. 4 years ago, none of us knew the name Darryn Peterson. Now Darryn Peterson will be the name that all of us know and will eventually be the lead guard on Team USA. He will be the lead guard on the playoff team for the Utah Jazz. And at some point, a lead guard in the NBA Finals and potentially the next statue outside the Delta Center. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. We're going, baby. It starts now. Talk to you next time.